Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm sure this is the moment you've waited all week for, because I sure have. The tension is rising here at the Bahrain Sakhir International Circuit for the start of the second round of the Kenco Formula 1 Championship. Today we're racing around 3.36 miles of twists and turns, and what a race it'll be, but make sure you watch the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Drivers will be locking their tyres into there before turning past the hairpin and getting straight on that power for the DRS zone and straight that follows. Last week it was a wet one, but this one is definitely drying. Let's hope the drivers can put their talents aside and show us what they've got here in Bahrain. Today, the grid order after an absolutely spectacular qualifying session. Max Chapman in that Alfa Romeo puts himself on pole once again, but he's followed on the front row by Grizzler Titan. He hasn't shown his potential so far. Let's see what he can do. Casper Knopp and Thomas Salomon on the row behind him, and then Charlie in that sister Ferrari 3 places behind his compatriot, and then Robbie Welsh follows him, and Alex Hughes after his 5-place grid penalty. He came second in qualifying, but that 5-place puts him down to P7. He's joined by Joel Foxholland. Behind him is Ian Hanmore and Casper Meach in the Mercedes and Alfa Romeo. And then Alexander Rinser and Dylan Hartley in behind. Dylan qualifying 7 places better than he did last week, so let's hope he's on the front foot for this week. Andre and Archie follow them. They're in the Williams and the Renault, and Jay Robinson, Dylan's teammate, again 3 places behind, and Ben Mitchell also behind his teammate. He's in the Mercedes, and behind in the other Mercedes of the Racing Point, James Wilson, and he's joined by Adam Forbes, and behind him his teammate Josh O'Mara in the McLaren, and then Riley Harper on the last row of the grid. Ladies and gentlemen, that noise you can hear is the noise. That is the noise of failure. At the moment, we're just trying to get things working, and it doesn't seem to be going our way. So we'll get the music back on as we get ready for the start of the Kenco Formula 1. Sorry, we've had a slight issue. Basically, everybody's just been kicked out of the game. So we're just going to try and get things going. But, you know, it's fine. Just wait a couple seconds. In the meanwhile, I'll introduce you to my co-host of Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Kenco F1 League, and it is race day. What a race it's set to be.
Well, if we can get it underway, then sure it will be.
That's very true.
We'll just say it's down to a dog being on track. You know, that happened last year, so...
Yeah.
So we'll just go ahead and be sorting things out in the background, but for the meanwhile, sit tight, folks, and we'll try and get things sorted. Thank you for your collaboration and cooperation. Thank you, guys. And we think we may have got it working, so for the second time, welcome to the Kenco Formula 1 Grand Prix. And without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm sure this is the moment you've waited all week for, because I sure have. The tension is rising here at the Bahrain Sakhir International Circuit for the start of the second round of the Kenco Formula 1 Championship. Today we're racing around 3.36 miles of twists and turns, and what a race it'll be, but make sure you watch the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Drivers will be locking their tyres into there before turning past the hairpin and getting straight on that power for the DRS zone and straight that follows. Last week it was a wet one, but this one is definitely drying. Let's hope the drivers can put their talents aside and show us what they've got here in Bahrain. Today, the grid order after an absolutely spectacular qualifying session. Max Chapman in that Alfa Romeo puts himself on pole once again, but he's followed on the front row by Grizzler Titan. He hasn't shown his potential so far. Let's see what he can do. Casper Knopp and Tomer Salomon on the row behind him, and then Charlie in that sister Ferrari 3 places behind his compatriot, and then Robbie Welsh follows him, and Alex Hughes after his 5-place grid penalty came second in qualifying, but that 5-place puts him down to P7. He's joined by Joel Foxholland. Behind him is Ian Hanmore and Casper Meach in the Mercedes and Alfa Romeo. And then Alexander Rinser and Dylan Hartley in behind. Dylan qualifying 7 places better than he did last week, so let's hope he's on the front foot for this week. Andre and Archie follow them. They're in the Williams and the Renault. And Jay Robinson, Dylan's teammate, again 3 places behind. And Ben Mitchell also behind his teammate. He's in the Mercedes, and behind in the other Mercedes of the Racing Point, James Wilson, and he's joined by Adam Forbes, and behind him his teammate Josh O'Mara in the McLaren, and then Riley Harper on the last row of their grid. Boys, we got things working, we're ready, and it's going to be a good one. Welcome to the formation lap of the start of the Kenco Formula 1 Grand Prix here in Bahrain. Sam, hello sir.
Hello everyone, hello again, welcome to Bahrain.
Yeah, welcome to Bahrain, where it's set to be an absolutely amazing one. As you see, Max Chapman in P1 on those marked yellow medium tyres. Half the grid starting on those medium tyres, the only exception being Foxhole, Hanmore, Wells, Charlie and Salomon, with Titan in P2 also putting himself on the soft tyres. So, boys, what do you think's going to happen tonight? Not sure about you guys, because I think it's going to be a good one, but the one thing that I'm sure of today is that we're going to have some competition with so many different strategies that could take place, and especially with the soft strategist of P2. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens there. What's your take on it, Sam?
Yeah, definitely, obviously starting on that soft tyre is going to be a bit of a gamble to see how far into the race you can go. But yeah, it's going to be a great race, no doubt. Some hopefully great overtaking action we can expect to see as well.
Yeah, it'll be good to see how this race pans out. So, for now, we line up on the grid. There's 5 lights. It's lights out, and away we go. We're away for the start of the Kenco Formula 1 Grand Prix. The Charlie gets a really good start. So do both the McLarens, with the Williams dropping back into the first corner. And who's this going down the inside? It's the Renault of Robbie Welsh, but Chapman maintains his lead, and the Red Bull of Knopp puts himself into P2, into turn 2, and Titan and Shutt are now next to each other. Going into turn 3, it's absolutely no collision so far. It's been an amazing start, and Chapman maintains his lead.
Definitely, it's a very clean start for the drivers. Great to see. Also a bit unexpected, but it looks like the McLaren of Forbes is back down in P20. Looks like might have a slight issue.
Yeah, perhaps so. Maybe a little bit of a false start on the grid. Maybe put himself into the wrong gear, or anything like that. But the man I'm interested with is Foxhall. He's yet to gain a place on this start.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Foxhall had a little bit of a disappointing qualifying yesterday, but yeah, looks like he might have some good race pace to show off today.
All of these cars now getting an equal gap towards each other as we see the McLaren of Forbes just coming around that corner. He's so far behind. What's your take on that? What happened? Do you know?
I'm not too sure. It doesn't look like he has any wing damage, but it looks like he just might be going generally quite slowly. So I'm not too sure what's happened to the McLaren Force. We'll keep you updated.
That might be a mechanical issue there for the McLaren team, which they need to sort out. As Hanmore eyes up a move on Hartley. Is he going to go down the inside? Oh, I think he just backed out. And a huge DRS trade starting to form now with the leaders rounding that final corner, coming to the finish line for the start of the second lap. So far, no collisions. Very good race.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, with the dry running race now, we can expect some good DRS usage. So yeah, it'll be good to see some great overtakes.
Now, Hughes in up a move. He's gone down into P9, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. Some very clean racing at the start of the race, which is very interesting. Wasn't expecting that. I thought a collision would have happened going to turn 1, but yeah, good to see.
I'm sorry, folks. It looked like there may be an issue, but half the grid has been shifted down, and Harper... Oh, looks like Harper's got an issue as we see one of the things, and that's the safety car deployed into the second corner. I think he may have lost it through the entry to turn 6.
Yeah, looks like the Williams had a slight issue there, but I'm not too sure what's happened to the leaderboard on my screen. But yeah.
Yeah, on my screen, apparently Forbes was in P1.
Yeah, slight issue again, but you know, what do we expect with this F1 game? But yeah, looks like Max has retained his lead in P1 from the start of the race with Casper Knock in Red Bull up into P2.
For the second time, the safety car has been deployed within the first, 5 minutes of the race?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I'm not too sure what happened to the Williams, but I believe it was a bad accident that made him retire. But yeah, the safety car obviously going to equal out the field, but there wasn't that much field spread. We're only 2 laps into the race.
And that's going to prolong the DRS activation, obviously, normally activated on the start of lap 3, and then now we've got to wait for 1 lap after the safety car comes in, which would probably be around lap 4 or 5. So that's going to break up that thing, but it's going to put them all together, so everybody's potentially going to get a DRS train coming out of that, and it could be very interesting to see how the soft runners such as Titan and P3 use that to their advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like the Renault of Robbie's come into pit to replace those soft tyres coming onto the medium, so quite early. We'll have to see what he does thereafter, but yeah, interesting strategies already.
I think that's a very good call from those soft runners trying to get onto those medium tyres. Oh, as a very unusual strategy, we see the Williams of Andre going from the mediums onto the softs.
Yeah. That is an interesting strategy. Not too sure what's happened there, but it looks like the Alfa Romeo of Casper has been involved in an accident under the safety car, which is going to be severely disappointing for him. He's got some serious wing damage by the looks of it as well. I'm not too sure what's happened there, but it looks like he collided with the Renault. He's not going to be happy with that at all.
Oh, it's there almost a big clash into turn 8. We saw that before when Stroll got flipped, the Stroll roll as they called it, but almost happened again with Wilson.
Yeah, definitely. We also saw this last week in Australia. The drivers going.
Casper Meech almost getting another collision. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries. We saw this in Australia last week with the drivers going so quickly and then slowly again under the safety. I'm not too sure what they're up to, but yeah, this is what happens if that happens.
Casper Meech is not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy because that's the second week running that he's been collided into under the safety car, meaning that he's going to have to pit for possibly a new set of mediums, maybe going onto those hards early.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he was on a good strategy with the medium tyres being fit currently, but yeah, he's got some serious wing damage. No doubt he's going to have to box for that.
Now, this is going to equalise the field. Everybody now is going to be running fresh tyres, except for those front runners who are trying to keep their track position. And the yellow flag stays out, which means the safety car is not coming in this lap. And it's going to be very interesting to see what drivers do now.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Josh in the McLaren. He looks like he's gained 8 places in the first 3 laps of the race, which is a great showing from the McLaren there. probably due to some pit stops. But yeah, P11, one place outside the point. Looks like the Alfa Romeo of Meech does come into box.
Yeah, we see all of the people now who were boxing, who didn't box, are starting to box, and then we still got 12 runners who have not boxed. Forbes coming back up from last. I think that safety car has helped him wonders.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like the two Ferraris out front have stayed on their softs, so it looks like they're going to extend that soft stint as well as Vauxhall in the racing point. So yeah, interesting strategy still, but yeah, a lot of pit stops to come in to replace those soft tyres from those front runners.
Okay, Sam. Now I need you to walk me through. What is your plan if you're going to be Forbes? Run me through the entire race strategy.
Forbes, obviously, he's had an interesting qualifying. Started P18, I believe. So obviously, strategy is going to be massive for him. So he started on the medium tyres, and no doubt he'll go onto the hards later on into the race. So yeah, it's an interesting strategy, but he's running well in P12 with his teammate in P9 being helped out by those early pit stops. But yeah, it's an interesting run for the McLaren guys throughout the rest of the race.
Now, this is going to be interesting to see how this McLaren takes it forward, and especially with people like Casper. He's down in P19, he's last place for the second time running. That's 2 weeks in a running now, and that means we're going to have to get a team radio from the Alfa Romeo team. So here it is. We're just going to get a listen for it.
Every race, man, I can't get a break. Someone wrecks into me. It's pointless.
Casper Meech there, sounding absolutely distraught with that, and for good reason as well. That's two races running that Casper's been crashed into the back of, and but we saw last week he managed to propel himself back up into P8, and what does that mean for him now? He's going to be on fresher tyres than half the grid.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, he's on the hard tyres, but we've just heard from the race control that the safety car is in this lap, so it will be interesting to see.
Now, last time the safety car was backed up, it was almost a crash into turn 1, so we'll see what race leader Max Chapman has to say here. And starting from gear 2 with full ERS and Rich, I presume, are going into overtake mode. He's going to be wanting to get a great start out of here, trying to get away before the others can.
It definitely looks like he's got a nice lead already, which is good to see for him. The Ferrari guys looks like they are fighting as well.
Yeah, Vauxhall into P6 already. P5 getting a good overtake onto Charlie. Into that turn, it's tight through there. Hughes coming down into P4. He's lost 2 positions since that start, and very, very good start for him. Obviously, he got the 5th place grid penalty, but coming up into P6 is Vauxhall and Hartley behind in P7, and after him is Salaman, his teammate, and this is looking like a really, really good start. Again, once again, no collisions after the safety car.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a nice clean restart, which is good to see. Looks like Vauxhall does have some good pace and is fighting that Ferrari of Charlie, so it will be good to keep a look out on this.
Now, this is where I want to see this tight braking turn 10. What's going to happen into here is not going to try a late lunge down the inside. Doesn't look like he's just going to keep that lead. But both the Ferraris now challenging the Haas and the Red Bull respectively, and Kenco in last. P19, what's gone on?
Don't know what's happened there, but it looks like the field is still very close. There's still opportunities for overtakes, but Ian is on the medium tyre versus Casper in front of him on the hard, so we will have that tyre advantage, so might be able to get an overtake on in the upcoming corners.
There's still 24 laps happening left in this race, but we've got a battle down for 16th. Oh, as Mitchell goes flying, I don't know what happened there. I think he just lost a rear end through turn 7, and what's happened to him? We go to Mitchell in the Mercedes as he tries to re-enter the track. What's happened to there? He's got no wing damage, so just presume he's lost a tyre through there.
Yeah, it looked like going through turn 12, he spun up the rear tyres a bit too much and did spin. He might be able to recover, but yeah, that's not good to see. It did look like he had a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags as well, so not a great race for him so far.
Yeah, P19, P16. Hamill's managed to gain 3 positions since the safety car restart, and I'm sure he will be proud himself of that, but he has another problem to follow. He has to get Robbie off of his tail there. Robbie put in some brilliant times in qualifying, and Meech trying to make a move down on the Renault into the tight right-hander of turn 6, but no avail. I think the hard tyres just aren't going to last that much longer. They haven't got enough heat in them, have they? They haven't got enough pace to get those dive bombs.
No, definitely. Obviously, it's much harder to get those harder tyres warmed up, but it looks like Casper is very aggressive and wanting to get those positions back that he lost, understandably, of course.
Renault pushes Ian out wide on that corner. Ian leaves him perfectly enough space, but just pushes him wide, and that's I don't know. That's a really unusual move from the Renault. I'm not sure if that's going to be within the sporting code, but I'm sure that'll be looked at by the stewards.
Yeah, it looked like a very aggressive move from the Renault of Robbie, but yeah, some good overtaking.
Now, I want to see Foxhall. He's been gained on by about 2/10 a lap after this restart. Hartley on his tail. You know, Hartley's gained positions. He was P12 since the restart. He's gained half of the racing position so far. As Foxhall, massive lock up into the last corner, coming around that tight corner. But there's a massive gap starting to form between P7 and P8.
Yeah, it's clear to see that the top 7 have got some incredible pace. The previous 8 not so much, but yeah, it looks like Foxhall's struggling a bit behind this Ferrari. Might be something to do with the dirty air, but he did complain yesterday about just not feeling good in the car after qualifying. So yeah, might be able to work on that throughout the race.
And the DRS train begins to form as Hartley gets DRS, and another huge lockup from Joel. That's gonna really degrade those soft tyres. Is he gonna try and get as much out of them before he pits, or do you think he's going to try and come in and undercut this this strategy? As we've said, oh, and a huge off by the Ferrari, a huge off, and that causes both Joel and the Ferrari to lock up, and that's going to really harm Dylan, because he's not going to want to be behind that car with that unstable rear by the looks of things. And another lock up by Joel.
Yeah, it looks like Joel is really struggling on those soft tyres. Might be wanting to come in soon, but yeah, that mistake from Ferrari cost him. Looks like Dylan might be able to get the overtake done, but looks like the Ferrari has got DRS on Joel. Joel looks like he's really struggling out there.
Yeah, now both Joel and Torben Charlie, they're both going to be feeling that effect of those lockups they've had. Charlie going out wide, obviously his tyres are going to be incredibly warm. They're going to be heated up to the point where they're not going to be able to take that last corner that they've just taken flat. They're going to have to lift off slightly. So what does that mean for them in terms of having to pit?
Well, obviously, it's hard to tell when you want to come in to replace those soft tyres, but it looks like Joel is really struggling on those soft with constant lockups. But it looks like the Ferrari of Charlie is coming in, so to get that strategy game rolling and potentially going for the undercut.
Now, what does that mean for Hartley? Because he's lost about 6/10 from Joel Foxhall, and that now puts Joel Foxhall's teammate Wilson down behind him in P7. It's a battle for fifth. Battle for fifth with Hartley and Foxhall. What can Hartley do with this DRS now? He's got full overtake and DRS. What's he going to do? He's got the new tyres, and he's got less heated tyres. He's going to try and take that apex, but he slightly misses it, get on that power as soon as he can. He wants to lift off a slightly through here, but it's a really good race pace from him on those mediums.
Yeah, definitely. It's vital for him to get through this racing point so that he can prolong the life of his medium tyres, so he can run well into the race and potentially change from the mediums later. The hards later on during the race. But yeah, Joel really struggling coming through turn 10. Another lockup. Yeah, just looks like he's really struggling on those soft tyres. No doubt we'll see him come into the pits soon to respond to that undercut threat from the Ferrari of Charlie.
I'm interested with the pace of Titan. P3. He's lost only one position in this race. He's 6/10 behind Casper Knopp on those medium tyres. Huge lock up into that corner, but the gap keeps tightening and loosening and tightening and loosening. I think the Red Bull may have the edge through the corners on those medium tyres, but the softs on the straights, they're much quicker.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the DRS is going to be helping that on the straights as well. Looks like all three of these drivers have on.
And it looks like the DRS. Yeah, the DRS of Knopp means that Chapman is now down into P3. I think there may be some internet issues from him, but for the first time of the Kenco Formula 1 Championship, someone other than an Alfa Romeo is leading the race.
Yeah, obviously Casper Knopp in the Red Bull, his opportunity now to go on and lead the rest of the race and take the win. But yeah, not too sure what happened to Max there.
Yeah, Max really unfortunate. He's 5/10 behind. He's probably going to eye up an overtake onto Titan, but he loses the back end. Is that something to do with connection, or do you think his tyres are starting to go? This is really worrying for the Alfa Romeo team. This is going to be unfortunate if that means that he's lost that position.
Yeah, definitely. This is the first time I've seen Max struggle in the league so far. So I'm not too sure what's happened to his car, but yeah, it looks like he's really struggling with the back end and the wheel spin from that. So it looks like he's now creeping outside of DRS range of the Ferrari ahead of him as well. So yeah, he's really struggling out there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's the first time I've seen him struggle as well for a long while. But what are you doing if you're Titan? You need to gain 4/10 to catch the Red Bull, who's on arguably newer and more sustainable tyres than you. What are you doing?
Well, it's a tricky one because obviously you're running completely different strategies. For me, I would be thinking about when I want to come into the pit to replace those soft tyres. Obviously, the undercut is going to be very powerful around here. So it'll be interesting to see when the Ferrari does decide to come in. It looks like he might be coming in
And
now.
just as we
Ford.
say it, as before, the other Ferrari comes in. It's almost as if the strategist knows it.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, playing the strategy game, which is going to be very important around Bahrain.
Sorry, we've got a little bit of a mix-up on the graphic. It's not that went into the pits, it was Titan, P5. So that puts Chapman back up into P2. It's a very slow race so far, as with using the DRS, O'Mara puts himself into P6 and Robinson into P7. And as you see, Titan now down into P15. He might be in P16 on the exit. And Robbie Welch, there's lots of moves being made in this midfield.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the midfield is close as ever, fighting for those last positions in the points. The McLaren of Forbes still up in P10, so looks like it's going well. But the McLaren of Amera's, I mean, P6, great. Obviously, he's still got to pit, but yeah, great position for him at the moment. This time in the race.
Really powerful stuff from both the McLaren drivers here. We got Forbes leading 4 drivers. Once Rinser gets past him, do you think he's gonna make that gap just like Welsh has, or do you think that it's just unfortunate that these medium tyres are all the same pace?
Yeah, I think Forbes may be a bit slower than all the drivers behind him. Obviously, it looks like he's very clearly holding him up. But it looks like the AlphaTauri and the other McLaren, the system McLaren, are fighting very hard. Looks like Jay just went into the side of the McLaren, and Casper up into P7.
You've got an absolutely amazing view here from the halo of Andre into turn 12. We've got the Renault just getting it out, just edging, using all of that ERS. It looks like it's a little bit difficult for those drivers to fight for that position, but they're side by side coming into turn 14, and big lockup from Andre, but he might get a position on those red mark soft tyres. I think we may see yet another pit, and oh, for some reason, the McLaren of Forbes has come into the pits. That's the second time in 2 weeks we've seen him go into the pits and lose his track position.
Yeah, might be struggling on deciding the strategy, but looks like he's come onto the hard tyres, which is understandable. But yeah, he's lost track position, as you said.
This is some absolutely beautiful racing from everybody on the track. There's been little to no collisions, besides, obviously, the one of Casper that you've heard on the team radio just moments ago. But here you see all 3 compounds, C3, C4, C5. On the red Ferrari, you've got the white hard tyres, you've got C5 there. On the yellow marked tyres on the Mercedes of Ian, there you have the C4s and the C3s on the red marked C3s that have just locked up, as we say, and they're starting to lose grip on number 62 of Andre.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we've got the racing point of Joel in P15. He's gone onto the medium, so interesting strategy. Might be going for a 2-stopper, which we'll have to look out, but still he's struggling with those lockups. But he's coming to the back of Kenco in the Mercedes, so no doubt will be making an overtake.
Sorry, Wilson losing it. And a dangerous rejoin there from him, but he's gonna heat those he's just heated those tires up to 1,000,000. He's just lost all of his time. He was up in P12 fighting with the Renault for that place, and he just took it too quick and lost it. James now down in P17.
Yeah, that's a real shame for the other racing point. Looks like they had some good pace today, but maybe there's still quite a few laps left of the race, so there's still time.
The other racing point launches a move down on Ian, and they do collide coming into that corner, but looks like no damage sustained, but Joel's just going to get the better exit out of there. He's got the newer tyres that they're sustained for so much more of this race, and it's Joel, ultimately, who has the lead.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, as I was saying earlier, Joel looks like he's got some renewed pace on these medium tyres. We'll be able to get through this midfield quite easy, I imagine.
Now, we're more or less halfway through this race, and I am surprised. Look who's in the lead.
I know. Casper not managed to sustain his lead in P1. Looks like he's about 2 seconds ahead of the Alfa Romeo, so just outside that DRS range, which is absolutely so important around Bahrain.
Yeah, so much pace from this young driver. He's surprised we didn't see him on the podium last week, just narrowly missing out. P4 last week, coming back from P20. Absolute display of class from the Red Bull driver. As you see the little pit board there, lap 13, they're telling him that they're 2 seconds behind us. P2, P3 and P4 all come into the pits to try and get those tyres. Now, I've heard from a little birdie that you want to try and get these tyres off and onto those hards as soon as you've got about halfway of your tyre percentage. And Casper Knopp here is just the epitome of tyre life. Look at the pace, he's drawing out at least half a second a lap on all the other drivers, number 69, and he's on old medium tyres.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to see that all his rivals around him, P2, 3 and 4, all just came into the pits and they're all on the hard. So it will be interesting to see when the Red Bull of Knopp does come in to replace those mediums.
Now, what does that say for Joel Fotzel, currently holding fastest lap? He's 2/10 behind Hughes, who's in front of him, just coming out the pits. And he's just pitted, so he's going to have more momentum on those tyres. And the car in front has medium tyres, so I don't know whether they started on the softs. If they started on the mediums, then obviously they're going to have to come in for another stop because there's a mandatory compound change in Formula 1. You have to change your tyre compound regardless of who you are or where you start. And Foxhole, P6, those tyres aren't going to have much life if he keeps doing what he does, battering them into those corners, trying to turn as soon as and as we say it, locking up once again.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting technique from him, but looks like, importantly for him, he stayed ahead of that Alpha Tower of Hartley after the pit stops. So yeah, he's got track position, which is really good for him.
Now, this is what I'm interested in. Not 2.5 second pit stop, quite slow for Red Bull, but will he maintain his lead? 4 seconds behind for the lead. And
Gonna be close.
Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, successful undercut from Casper Meech. When did he pit? Lap 6?
Yeah, something like that. That's an amazing recovery from the Alfa Romeo of Casper. And we have an Alfa Romeo in the lead again. What a surprise. But yeah, he's in P1. He might be able to extend those hards out for the rest of the race. Will be interesting to see, but that's what he'll be wanting to do.
Amazing undercut from the teammate as well. Chapman drawing his lead down from 2 seconds to now being within DRS range.
Yeah, definitely. The Red Bull of Casper might have had a bad in-lap, but yeah, looks like the Alfa Romeos have got a really good strategy today and it's working out really well for them.
Wilson, the other Racing Point, setting the fastest lap. Is this a show of what they have on this track? Obviously, 3 straight Mercedes power.
Yeah, potentially. It's a shame for Wilson to be down in P18 with that sort of pace, but he might be able to get back on the Alpha Tauri of Jay Robinson. But yeah, it's a shame for Wilson for having that spin through turn 12.
If you're Chapman, what are you doing right now?
I know, if I was Chapman, I know deep down that I would be able to get past this Red Bull. The amazing pace that he's had all weekend, he knows he can get past. He's just got to get it done and get it done cleanly so he doesn't have to box for any sort of front wing change or anything like that.
Yeah. As you see here, 270, 290, big 300, 300 kilometers down the straights. And, oh, what's that? Casper Knopp going really wide and, oh, I'm not too sure what's happened there. He's just teleported back onto the track. I don't know if that's some Red Bull technology that they've been implementing, but all of the grid except Wilson and Mitchell are on the C4 or C5 tyres, hards or the mediums, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens from now. And just want to show you that the lead from Meech is about 4 seconds now. Chapman, is he going to try a lunge down the inside? 2/10 behind. Oh, absolutely desolate there. He really is desperate to get past this Red Bull. He's going to have another opportunity though after turn 10. He's got another DRS zone into turn 11, but that's where you've got to be careful. These hard tyres do not retain tyre temperature, and if you go through there without tyre temperature, as you know, you probably do spin, so you've got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Chapman looks like he's inside the DRS range of the Red Bull of Knopp, so it will be a good advantage down this straight here.
Casper now 6 seconds in front. It's a lone race for him.
Yeah, definitely. Casper, I'm really surprised that the Alfa Romeo of Meech has managed to stay in P1. It will just be interesting to see whether he can take those hards to the end of the race. That's going to be a challenge.
Chapman is falling back just a little bit from Knopp. Maybe those hard tyres aren't as warm as Casper's, or Casper's been able to find some sort of life that Chapman can't. But Hughes maybe try dive down the inside on the quicker medium tyres. He'll get him during the DRS zone, no doubt, but will Chapman have DRS? That is the ultimate question. He was about 1 second out. He does not have DRS. That will allow the rear wing of Hughes to open as he sets the fastest lap and glides past with ease.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Hughes on the medium tyres versus everybody else around him on the hard, so he's going to have that tyre advantage. But yeah, he's got a real good opportunity to get up into P1.
I'm wondering whether Hughes himself has decided to go onto those medium tyres or whether it was a team decision.
Well, whoever decided it was a great decision. Obviously, going to be so much faster on those mediums, have so much more grip versus everyone else on the hard. So yeah, it's a great strategy so far, and hopefully it pays out for him.
Team principal Alfa Romeo will be chuffed with himself. P1 and P4, and if, like we said, Hughes did start on those mediums and accidentally went onto those mediums again, he's going to have to stop later on in the race. That might enable Chapman to go P3, so P1, P3, that's a good result for them.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, last week there was a bit of disappointment from the Alfa Romeo garage with Casper losing out, and obviously in qualifying again, Casper losing out. But yeah, what a recovery from Casper so far in P1.
Absolutely amazing stuff if he can retain it. But the one person I want to see is Dylan Hartley down in P7. He's had a very quiet race so far, and racing on his own as it seems, but his teammates down in P15, so what sets him apart? Obviously last week he got to P5 from the end, and starting in P19, that was quite good for him, and I wonder whether he's sustained any damage or he's just trying to coast us out to the end.
Obviously, he's going to be racing his own race. He lost out during the pit stop phase to Joel. Obviously, Joel managed to sustain that lead in front of him. He's got about a 2-second gap to Joel. So yeah, Hartley might be able to make a move on Foxhall later in the race if he's got that pace to keep up with him, of course. But he's on the harder tyres there versus Joel on the mediums.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but Mitchell, I'm not sure what happened there. We can't get any information at the moment, but we'll try and get it. Maybe some sort of failure there, but another safety car into another safety car into P17. This is really going to shake up the grid. There are 12 laps remaining. All of those on hards probably are going to go on to mediums. I'm not sure quite what it is, but this man here, Robbie Welsh, he is the man to watch because he has just undercut everyone into the pit.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he was in the right place at the right time on the track when the safety car was called out. He's going to have that great pit stop advantage, but I reckon we'll be seeing a lot of pit stops to replace the tyres the drivers are currently on, especially those medium runners.
Especially for drivers such as Hughes as well, who, if he did go medium, that's a chance for him to go hards. That completely eradicates all of everybody's strategies now. I'm assuming everybody will try and pit, and it's a big decision for Casper Meech.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, this is not what Meech will be wanting to have. He had about a 5-second lead ahead of everyone else. So
and we'll see. Yeah, Casper Meech does come into the pits, and we'll see if the teammate behind, Casper Knopp, does not. No, he stays out. Casper Knopp wants track position. What does that mean as Casper Meech goes, and he looks like he's about to fit the yellow marked medium tyres, yeah.
Yeah, obviously he's going to have that tyre advantage. Looks like he might have been held up by that Haas there slightly, but he's going to come back onto the track and he's going to be much faster than the likes of Knopp and Chapman on those mediums.
And like we said, Hughes begging on that safety car, P6 with the red mark hards.
Yeah, obviously a great call from the Haas guys to get back onto those hards. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Very interesting to see what these drivers can do with what's left of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the likes of Meech are going to be dying for the safety car to be over and done with as quick as possible so we can get more racing laps in and get back into that P1 position if possible.
We'll try and find out what happened for the safety car incident from our friends here at Sky Race Control, but for now, we're just going to leave you with some sights of the safety car. Probably should be out for about 3 laps. What do you reckon? Talk me through it, Sam.
Yeah, I reckon that is probably likely, as it looks like Vatsim Pro, who is in P15, Andre in the Williams, may have just received a drive-through penalty for being a bit too fast under the safety car. Obviously, you've got a delta to drive to, and if you go over that delta, you're going to be getting that penalty. And it looks like he got a drive-through penalty, but we can expect to see the safety car out for a few more laps, I imagine, unless told otherwise, of course. But I think people to look out for, and the safety car will have really benefited the likes of Joel in P7, giving him a good opportunity. The field is much closer now. He has much more opportunities now to get those overtakes done. Obviously, he's on the harder tyres with the likelihood is he'll stay out for the rest of the race now on those hard tyres if he can make them last. But yeah, people to look out for, I think Joel, I think Casper Meech in the Alfa Romeo. He's going to be dying to get back into that first place position if possible.
Yeah,
So it's going to
definitely.
be an interesting restart, I think.
Definitely. As the safety car stays out, I believe. And we've just had a notification from Sky Race Control that the collision which caused Mitchell to come out was very similar to the collision that caused Harper to come out through turn, I believe, turn 13? Just getting confirmation. Yeah, through turn 13, the car got too close, clipped the curb, went spinning, got stuck in the wall, and ripped out the tyre barrier, which is why we've got the safety car very close to red flag, apparently, so we will be interesting to see how the marshals clear that up and how soon they can get that done.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a shame for the Mercedes driver, obviously, to crash out like that. But you know, it gives opportunity to other drivers in the field now to get back into the positions they started in.
And very, very good stuff for Titan. Titan starting on the soft strategy. It was not advantageous, but this safety car has really equalised the field. Most drivers on those white marked Compound 5 hard tyres. We've only 7 outstanders with Meach, Schutt, Hanmore, Middlefell, Wilson, and Welsh, and 3 of them 16th, 17th, 18th.
Yeah, definitely. I think the restart is going to be very interesting for the likes of Meach. He's obviously on those medium tyres, much easier to get back up to temperature. So I think he's going to be rapid on the restart. And the guys around him are going to have to be really careful.
As you just saw there, the big, really big advantageous inventions that all of these constructors have to come up with. Do you know why they're called constructors, Sam?
I do not.
So, the word constructors originates from, obviously, when Formula 1 was first called the Grand Prix, and all of the elements of the car had to be constructed by a works team. So, for instance, as you see nowadays with the likes of Racing Point, they're a works team, but they still buy parts from other people, same as the Haas there of number 37 of Hughes, as you can see, as all of the cars pile up, and, oh, I think there may have been a collision with Forbes there in P14, and Robinson has to let him pass, but that's going to be some wing damage for Forbes, I believe. But the word constructor comes from when the works team had to make their own car. And we've seen a little bit creative interpretation there with the Racing Point this year, with the rules being bent a little bit. But the major works team, the one from Britain, the one with Christian Horner on the pit wall, they lead the race into turn 1 at the start of the second safety car restart, but already Titan overtaking Chapman into turn 1. What a lunge that's going to be.
Yeah, it looks like he's managed to get it done as well.
Oh, huge switcheroo.
Yeah, that was a very brave lunge, but it looks like the AlphaTauri Dylan Hartley's going to be looking into it now as well.
Oh, and Forbes just into turn 1. He's clipped one of the drivers, and that's put him out of the session. Forbes is out. That's 3 drivers, 17 left in this race with 9 laps to go. And what's going to happen here is Chapman going to launch one down the inside of Titan. Oh, sorry, Meach down the inside of Titan. Hartley up into P3 after the turn 5.
Wow, what a restart for him. I wasn't expecting that. Obviously, he's on the hard tyres, so wasn't expecting to have such a good restart. But yeah, it looks like Meach is struggling a bit, which is totally unexpected.
Hughes on those those white marked hard tyres. We said he is going to be one to watch. He started P7, he's P6, he's one up with the 5-place grid penalty from P2. He's down in P6, he was starting in P7, and what can he do as Schutt goes wide? Charlie just leaving the track a little bit, maybe track limits warning there for him, and wow, what a restart this has been. This has been one to remember.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Alex had that 5-place grid penalty, unfortunately for him, but yeah, he's had a pretty decent race today, I would say.
And as we see the DRS train start to form, the man I want to see is Captain Meach, who goes down the inside of Titan and easily passed, and maybe a double overtake as Foxhole looks to get past as well.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Titan fighting back, getting very close to the rear of the Alfa Romeo, but it looks like Casper Meach has got it done.
This is some absolutely stellar racing from both the midfield and the top drivers. We're going to go on board with Meach as he looks to defend that place from Titan, and we look in the rear view camera, you'll see Titan is just starting to fall back and maybe conceding a place to Hughes.
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, Titan had a really good restart, but may have overcooked those tyres slightly, so he's going to be falling back now. But yeah, Meach very close to the rear of the AlphaTauri of Hartley, so we'll be interesting to see whether he can make a lunge.
I am really interesting with Nop. He is on 13-lap-old hards. 13-lap-old hards, and he's still increasing the gap on Chapman, who is on 4-lap hards behind. That just shows the way that a strategy can win you a race. Even just something simple as track position on a track, well, that has good DRS zones, but maybe is more advantageous to go for the worn-down tyre, the ones that start to delaminate.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, looks like Nop has made the right decision of staying out and taking that track position versus coming in for a new set of tyres. But yeah, he's looking good.
And Meech gets around Hartley coming into turn 15, the final corner, and he gets past the finish line, and it's Alfa Romeo 2-3.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to be interested to see whether the Alfa Romeo boys decide to switch it around.
Oh, the AlphaTauri of Dylan eyes up a move, but he just doesn't have enough. And as you were saying,
obviously Casper is on those medium, softer tyres versus Max on those harder tyres, so it'll be interesting to see whether they decide to swap it around or not.
very, very different. Maybe some team orders will be in due.
Yeah, potentially. I think it's a good idea. I think Casper Meech has some great pace on those mediums.
P6, P7. Look at how tight this gap is in the midfield. There's 4 cars, the 2 Ferraris, one of the Racing Points, and the Haas that are all looking to get past each other for P5. Battle for P5 for 4 cars, and a huge lockup. So many lockups into turn 10. I told you in the intro, this was what we're going to look for. Some absolutely stellar racing. 2 seconds separating P5 from P8.
Yeah, these guys are pushing very hard. Obviously, turn 10 renowned for those lockups and tricky finding the correct brake balance going through there. But yeah, midfield racing has been great today.
Now, this is the most dangerous corner on the track here. You don't want to go too quick, otherwise you can get caught in the gravel trap. And as we saw Alex Albon do in the past, lose your rear end into that wall. 6 laps remaining once the leader crosses the finish line. Oh, what a race it's been. This has been very, very fun so far, and one of my favourites, and I think one of your favourites to come, I think, Sam.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like there has been a swap of position between the 2 Alphas. So it looks like Casper might be fighting the other Casper in the Red Bull.
Yeah, you reckon that was a team order or just free to race from them two?
I don't know. Casper looks like he had lots of momentum coming out of the last corner. He obviously is on those medium tyres and had DRS, who had a huge advantage.
And back later on in the field, we've got Foxhall getting overtaken by Torben Schutt, taking the outside line through turn 5.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that's not usual to see. Joel, again, just hasn't been on it today, I don't feel. He's been struggling a bit too much, I think. And yeah, Charlie and the Ferraris got past him.
Oh my goodness. Look at P9 through P13. It's like one whole big kerfuffle as, oh, they collide. O'Mara and Hammoran goes wide, and that causes Hammor to come so much inside. And oh my goodness, this is some tense. Oh, and a huge lost wing back from both the Renaults.
Yeah, that is not good. The 2 Renault drivers crashing into each other. But yeah, it's so close between these guys.
Both the Renaults, I can't remember who it was. Was that Middelfeld or Welsh? I think it's Welsh that sustained that damage.
Yeah, potentially looks like there might have been some damage from one of the Renaults. But yeah, looks like Hanmore and the Mercedes going around the outside through turn 12. That's going to be risky, obviously, with the warm rear tyres. But he is on those mediums faster than those hards that Josh has on in the McLaren.
Hamor got an absolutely amazing exit out of there, and he's going to look to get O'Mara into the final turn. Is he going to get it? O'Mara goes around the outside, but Ian backs off. I think, I can't believe I'm seeing my eyes there. He's got the inside line into one of the corners. He's in front and allows the other car with DRS to get around.
Yeah, much less aggressive than I would have expected from Hanmore. Looks like he's just gifted that place back to the McLaren. Not too sure what's happened there. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to get some DRS coming out 10-3 in turn 4 now.
Remember, you can vote for your driver of the day at kencotv.uk/vote. Just go there, put your Twitch name in, sign in with your Google account, and you'll be able to say who you want to win the driver of the day. Last week it was Joel. This week I think I know who I'm voting for. Casper Meech, who is currently in P2. What a race he's been having.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like he's getting ever closer to that Red Bull in front. It's going to become right down to the wire with only 5 laps left of the race.
1.4 seconds behind. That's outside of DRS zone, but Chapman behind, 8 tenths behind on those P5. He can't keep up. He cannot keep up with his teammate.
Yeah, not too sure what's happened with that, but looks like Casper might be slightly struggling on those mediums, maybe a bit too well. We might just have to back off slightly and then try and regain on the Red Bull in front of him down the straight.
The field begins to separate as Hanmore, is he going to try and launch a move on the McLaren of O'Mara, who's been, well, let's just say defending rather aggressively so far, rounding one of the most difficult turns. As I said, Hanmore on yellow marked mediums. Hanmore has his opportunity here. Is Josh going to let him pass, or is Hanmore just going to back off? Obviously, Hanmore's going to have DRS into that corner as he passes the detection done. He's less than a second behind, gets a better exit, number 34. Very, very tight racing from these boys. The rear wing of the Mercedes opens, giving them 7 kilometers an hour extra. And Hanmore goes down the inside, and is he going to get it into turn 1? He has the inside line. Hanmore is in front, but Josh might look to take one round the outside, going for the switcheroo, trying to catch Ian on it off guard. Wheels touch, safe not to have any sort of collision there, but Ian is in front.
Yeah, nice overtake done from Hanmore there. Should have done that a lap earlier, but he still got it done. So yeah, some great racing.
Josh late on the brakes. Hanmore trying to get a switcheroo, and almost colliding there as Jay Robinson in P11 maybe looking to get a slice of this action.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, this is going to be slowing these two guys.
Oh, huge spin from O'Mara. I think that may have been just tapped in the back, and that forces the Haas of Salaman to go wide, and O'Mara back into P14 now.
That is such a shame for the McLaren driver. What a shame. I'm not too sure what happened there, but yeah, such a shame.
Hanmore decidedly in P9 now. Robinson on his tail, but let's be honest, that's the only person who can challenge him.
Yeah, it looks like Casper Meech in the Alfa Romeo is getting very close to the Red Bull. This is going to be good to watch.
Oh, this is going to be some very, very down-to-the-wire battle in here. 2 laps remaining now. The car passes the start-finish line. That's going to mean Casper Meech is going to get out of that DRS line, and Casper Knopp tries to get behind him. Once again, Alfa Romeo, 1-3.
Yeah, it looks like Casper Knopp is being very strategic here, trying to get that DRS coming out of turn 4. Reckon he will have done it. And he does, yes.
Yeah, Casper Meech, he is well in front, but Casper Knopp's not going to want to take this lightly. He's been leading pretty much the entire race, and I hate to say it, but Casper Meech is in front.
Yeah, looks like Knopp did try and get some the DRS going through the second straight, but yeah, don't think it paid off. Look like Meech has got a nice advantage now, slowly pulling out of that DRS range. Heartbreak from the Red Bull garage. 1.1 seconds in front. The tyre advantage here is stellar, and Casper Meech, he's absolutely running away with it. Yeah, I'm so impressed with Casper today in that Alfa Romeo. Obviously, had that pretty treacherous start, but yeah, to be back in P1 now, what a great race it's been for him. Hopefully, he'll keep in P1 and sustain the win to the end. Now,
I think Casper Knopp's got another battle to fight, because Chapman's on his tail. Go on, run me through it.
Yeah, it looks like Chapman has got some good pace. Obviously, seeing his teammate now in P1, he's going to be wanting to get past that Red Bull as well. So it looks like he's slightly outside of the DRS range, but yeah, he's going to be wanting to get past that Red Bull as soon as possible, seeing that his teammate could get it done successfully.
Absolutely amazing stuff. 9 positions gained by Meech up in P1, and Knopp is not going to go down without a fight, and I'm really interested to see what has happened here from the Red Bull garage. Is he going to be proud with himself, getting himself back up into P2? That's 1 place gained, but Meech, P9, outshone by the Alfa Romeo team. The mega undercut.
Yeah, definitely. I think driver of the day for me definitely goes to Casper, but sorry, Casper Meech in the Alfa Romeo to be clear. But yeah, I think Casper Knopp's gonna be slightly disappointed. Obviously, he had the lead for a long time during the race, but we'll have to wait and see what the final result is, of course.
Remember, you can vote for your driver of the day at kenco.tv. kencotv.uk/vote. Put your Twitch name in, put your driver, and let us know who you think deserves the win. Number 69 chasing down number 53, but it's not happening, I don't think.
No, Casper Meech is really pulling away now by the looks of it in that Alfa Romeo. Obviously, on those medium tyres, he's going to be that much faster. But let's just hope for once he can get some good luck and keep the win, which he so much deserves at the moment.
Vauxhall defending from Alex Hughes on the harder compound tyres, but another lockup from Vauxhall, and wow, this is non-stop exhilaration here from Sakir. Always good stuff here, never failing to disappoint, but Hughes is going to look up a move. He's going to have DRS onto the straight. The rear wing opens. Is it going to be enough? He's 6/10 behind. Still 6/10 behind. Joel doing everything he can, and it's turn 1. Joel maintains that lead. The the tyres just too big an advantage, and Joel now eyeing up P5.
Yeah, definitely looks like Charlie had a little mistake. Look up into turn 1. Joel has a really good advantage with DRS now as well with that Ferrari. So yeah, he might be able to just stay in front of that Haas driver.
One lap after this, and oh, the Haas goes wide. That means he has to concede the position back to Joel, trying to go down the inside. Everything he's giving is for this position. Battle for P5 from the Ferrari, the Racing Point, and Alex Hughes, as we said before, the constructor team that maybe isn't such a constructor, but more of a imaginative thinker. Number 15, or so more his engineers, number 15's engineers, they definitely worked around those rules to a way that you got to give it to them.
Yeah, definitely. Alex has been fighting so hard today. I put everything on the table. But yeah, Joel just looks like he has the slight edge over him.
It's two works teams. You've got the Haas team, obviously the subsidiary of Ferrari, who with 2 positions in front of them, and Vauxhall, who is in the Racing Point P6, who are the subsidiary of Mercedes, who one of them went out earlier into turn 8, remember, going a little bit wide onto that curve, and Joel looking up again, probably not going to be well for him coming into DRS on the very, very last lap of this race, but a DRS train once again beginning to form. This track has not disappointed. We've had non-stop racing all the way through, and one of the Ferraris, number 41, might try eye up a move on number 19, and it just doesn't happen. But Joel, the Mercedes subsidiary, his teammate, or sorry, his the parent company, as it were, Hammer P9, Hartley P8.
Yeah, some great racing between these two Ferraris as well today with Charlie and Titan. Been very close between the two, and it still is very close. This could happen an overtake could happen at any point by the looks of it. They are still so close.
Well, if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be turn 10, so we're going to see what happens. One of the Ferraris locks up, and very, very close between the Haas, the Racing Point, and the Ferrari. Who's going to come out front? Vauxhall stays just tightly in front, and Haas takes down the inside, and into turn 10. He gets the inside line, and the Haas is in front.
Wow, I did not think he was capable of doing that, but yeah, what a great overtake from Hughes. Obviously, they both have DRS, so it's not done yet. Maybe Joel might send one up into the inside, but it looks like he's not. He's obviously going to have that DRS going through the final straight, but yeah, wow, that was a great overtake going through turn 10 from Hughes.
And here we see number 53, the man who's given it all, came back from P19 after the first safety car. As he comes towards the finishing line, Casper Meech, winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Wow,
absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff from him. Casper Knock comes home P2 and Chapman in P3. Time penalty obviously being applied to Grizzler Titan in P6. That puts him now. So Hughes up into P5, promoted up by 1 position. Obviously, that's how many places he got given. And I'm interested down for the midfield. We still got Hammel coming in, and he's P9, followed by Robinson, who's in P10, and fights the line, Rinser! Oh, P11, Archie Middlefeld coming in. 12, getting an overtake on Salaman, I think, because of a time penalty. And the drivers make their way in. So, what an absolutely amazing race that has been. We're gonna get some interviews with the winners, and Wilson crosses the finish line, and the last person to cross, coming round the final corner, the Williams of number 62, Andre Abreu. Nothing to race for at the moment, but absolutely stellar job from him. So thank you to everybody who's watched for the race, but do not leave. We've still got interviews to do. We've still got to talk to the winner of this race, Casper Meech.
Last to first.
Casper, what a race, mate.
What a fucking race, honestly. I don't know if sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but mate, oh, I'm so happy. I had the pace after, that second lap incident, and last to first, mate. I'm absolutely chuffed with that.
We're just gonna play your team radio again that you gave to us earlier in the race. We're gonna play that team radio. Just have a listen to it now. There you go, folks. You hear Casper Meech saying that it's happened twice in a row, but this time he's benefited from it. Casper Meech, P1!
That was an absolute rollercoaster ride.
What a race, mate. That's Alfa Romeo winning the first race and the second race.
Yeah, absolutely chuffed for the constructors. Mate, that was amazing. That's really helped me in the driver's title as well after a really unlucky race.
1-3.
Last week.
1-3 for Alfa Romeo, mate.
That's incredible. I mean, I thought I was going to be on for P5, P6 when that safety car came out, but I just started getting quicker and quicker. Everyone else was on the hard tyres, I was on the medium, so I thought, let's go for it. Let's absolutely go for it. There was a few moments where I thought I was going to spin, and I just about saved it. So, yeah, that was immense.
Absolutely stellar drive from you today, mate. Sam, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, that was an amazing recovery, Casper. But yeah, that was great. Do you think we'll be seeing some more of that throughout the season?
I don't know. I really thought I was going to do awfully at Bahrain. I don't like the track very much, so I'm surprised with the pace I had. But that might be a one-off. You never know. But I'm really happy with that today.
The one thing I want to know from you, D-Strokes, Casper, Nop. He was leading for majority of that race. Obviously, we saw you overtake Max on lap 26. Was that a team order, or was that just free to race?
No, we were free to race. I had the DRS, or the Rich Mix ERS, so I thought let's go for it. Team then told me to chase down the leader. So yeah, I stayed Rich Mix for a couple of laps. Started gaining on him, lost a bit of time again, and then on one lap it all came together. It was pretty much perfect, and I got the job done. So very happy with that.
And Casper, I would like to present you today with the Driver of the Day award. You earned it. You earned the fans' recommendations. You won Driver of the Day for today, the 17th of January.
Thanks guys. Thanks everyone for that voted for me. That's just the cherry on top. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Casper winning with 38% of the votes as well, so a third majority.
That's incredible. Honestly, thank you guys so much.
And there you see your race winner and your Driver of the Day winner also. Casper Meech was one of the stars of this race, I say.
Yeah, definitely. Well-deserved drive of the day. That would have been my drive of the day as well. Yeah, great race from Casper today. Really good.
Is there anybody you would like to speak to, Sam?
I'll tell you who I would like to speak to would probably be...
For me, it's got to be Casper Knopp.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Let's speak to Casper.
Right, we'll ring in at the Red Bull garage. We'll see if we can get him in here. Casper.
Hello.
So close. So close. Lap 26.
Yes, so far.
So close, but yet so far. The words of number 69, mate. Absolutely beautiful words from such a beautiful man who's got a beautiful number.
Absolutely.
Tell me where the inspiration came for the number. I'd like to know.
Well, before the league started, my number was taken, so we just decided to go with it. Number 69. No one was meant to have it, but here we are. So.
Do you think it blessed your race today, P2?
Absolutely. Obviously, came from P3 to P2. Could have been so much more there, but as I like to say, safety cars can make and ruin races. Obviously, Casper Meech went on the better strategy today and managed to get me on lap 26 and got P1. So absolute brilliant strategy from him. Brilliant driving as well from all the drivers. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
Amazing to see the drivers, even though they're fighting to the end, having absolutely amazing sportsmanship and working together. And Casper, I'd like to congratulate you on your second place. Unfortunately, just wasn't meant to be today.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I'll just look towards the future. It's nothing we can do now. Strategy has been completed, and we'll see what I can do next race.
Thank you very much. And the Red Bull team, I'm sure, will be kicking themselves after that, but I think that's going to be it for tonight, folks. What do you reckon, Sam?
Yeah, it's been a great race. Some great racing, some great overtakes. And obviously, a great winner, in my opinion. Casper, well deserved in that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I agree there. That puts Max Chapman P1 and and joint with him the other Alfa Romeo in Casper Meech. We're gonna speak to one last person just before we leave, but from myself and from Sam, thank you for tuning in the entirety of the race, and we hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. So, just the last person we're going to talk to is Valtteri Bottas, Kenco,
Hello.
Just for a word of thanks.
Yeah, in general, again, thanks to you two so much. Yes, honestly, you have no idea how much this wouldn't really be happening without you two. Thanks to all you guys watching as well. Obviously, it was a lot of happened in that race, to be honest with you. Obviously, I was racing in it, so I didn't really capture the full thing. But I'll definitely watch the VOD back with you two commentating over it. But yeah, China, was it China? I think it's China tomorrow.
China next week. Yep.
Yeah, it should make for some more fun as well. But yeah, congrats to Casper as well for winning. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it back. But yeah, thank you guys so much again for tuning in. But yeah, over to you.
Thank you very much to you, Ian, for once again participating and setting up the league. And I think from myself, from Sam, and from the Sky Crew, it's a good night. And remember, if you did miss any of it, you can watch us at Kenco F1 on YouTube. We don't have a link just yet because we're not affiliated with YouTube, but Kenco F1 on YouTube, you can search it and you can see us when we aren't live. So from the commentary box, thank you very much, and see ya.